Dear learners, in this video you are going to watch the configuration of routing information protocol using Cisco Packet Tracer. The aim of the experiment is to simulate dynamic routing protocol, that is the routing information protocol using Cisco Packet Tracer. The objectives of the experiment include the following: to simulate the RIP routing protocol, check the updated routing tables, and check the connectivity among the devices. To debug RIP messages and understand how routing tables are updated. To analyze the RIP routing tables, the requirement to carry on this configuration is Cisco Packet Tracer. So as learners, you will be able to simulate the RIP routing protocol. You will be able to check the updated routing tables and check the connectivity among devices. You will be able to debug the RIP messages and understand how routing tables are updated, and you will be able to analyze the RIP routing tables. Now let me brief you on the routing information protocol. This RIP is a dynamic routing protocol. Any change in the topology is updated by the routers using the RIP routing protocol. That's why it is called as dynamic routing protocol. And the routers learn the routes via their neighbors. Each of the routers over here can learn the routes in the topology in the network via their neighbors. RIP is a interior gateway routing protocol. It is a distance vector routing protocol. That is, it calculates the distance vectors in order to determine the shortest path right from the source to the destination. RIP routing protocol uses hop count as the routing metric. It has a administrative distance value of 120. Now this administrative distance is a feature that the routers use in order to select the best paths. For example, this RIP routing protocol has got AD value of 120. The other routing protocol like OSPF, that is Open Shortest Path First protocol, has an administrative distance value of 110. The maximum count for RIP routing protocol is 15. That is, if the metric becomes 16, that is hop count is 16, then that route is unreachable, or the network is unreachable in case the hop count becomes 16. Here in this diagram you can see that the maximum hops uh, in a network wherein RIP is used should be 15. So the hop from R1 to R2 is one hop, from R2 to R3 second hop, and so on. So altogether there are 16 routers in this network which can have maximum 15 hops. 15 hops, and if the metric becomes 16, then the network becomes unreachable. If you add one more router over here in this network and try to configure RIP, then that router will be unreachable because the maximum hop count in 15 in the RIP protocol is 15. Now here in this topology, each of the router will send the routing table updates to its neighbors. For example, R1 will send its routing table updates to router 2. Router 2 can send its routing table updates to router 1 as well as to router 3. Router 3 can send its routing table updates to R2 and its immediate neighbor, that is R4, and so on. So the um, routes are learned by the routers through their neighbors. Now these updates which are sent by each of the router to the neighboring routers is given after every 30 seconds. So update timer is of 30 seconds. Every router sends the updates of the routing tables to its neighbors after every 30 seconds. So on x-axis over here I'll mark the time, and on y-axis over here I'll mark the timer. Every router sends the routing table updates over the interval of 30 seconds, and this timer is called as the update timer. This is 30 seconds. Now, it may happen in the network that a particular link breaks and the network becomes unreachable. For example, this network will become unreachable for each of the routers over here because this link is broken. Now, in such scenario, the routers have to define the route to this network as invalid. So, time taken by the routers to define the particular network which is unreachable, or to define that a particular route is unreachable, is 180 seconds, and this timer is called as the invalid timer. Invalid timer. Now once the route is defined invalid, the routers hold down for another 180 seconds duration, for which the routers will neglect any new update for the failed route. So this timer is called as the hold down timer, during which the routers will not update any new information about the failed route, and that timer is called as the hold down timer, which occupies total duration of 180 seconds after the invalid timer period. Now once the route is defined invalid during the invalid timer period, the entry to that invalid route or failed route should be flushed from the routing tables, and it is flushed by the routers from the routing tables during the interval of 240 seconds. So the flush timer is of 240 seconds, during which the routers remove the route of the failed network, or they remove the failed route from the routing table during the flush timer period. So these are the 4 timers in the RIP routing protocol. Now let us observe this scenario which we are going to construct in the Cisco Packet Tracer, and we are going to configure the RIP routing protocol in this network scenario. Now as you can see here, there are 3 routers in this network: router 0, router 1 and router 2. You can see that router 0 is connected to a local area network and a wide area network. The local area network belongs to class A network, that is 10.0.0.0, and the wide area network belongs to class B network, that is 172.16.0.0. So the devices connected in local area network will have the IP addresses belonging to this class A network, that is 10.0.0.3 and 10.0.0.2. Now here the router 0 has got this fast Ethernet interface which will be assigned the IP address 10.0.0.1, and so the gateway IP address for these devices become 10.0.0.1, and here also 10.0.0.1. Now if you see router 1, then router 1 has got 3 interfaces: serial interface 2/0, serial interface 3/0, and fast Ethernet interface 0/0. The serial interface of router will be configured with IP address 172.16.0.2, which belongs to this WAN network address 172.16.0.0, and serial interface of router 0 will be configured with 172.16.0.1. Another serial interface of router 1 will be configured with IP address 192.168.6.1, which belongs to this class C network IP address, and the fast Ethernet interface of router 1 will be configured with an IP address belonging to class B, that is 20.0. This is class A again, 20.0.0.0. So here the serial interface will be configured with 20.0.0.1, and this will become the gateway IP address for these devices connected in this LAN. The gateway IP address for this PC4 will be 20.0.0.1, and the gateway IP address for this printer will also be 20.0.0.1, and the IP addresses for this end devices will be belonging to the same class A network, that is 20.0.0.0. So the IP address for PC4 over here is 20.0.0.2, and IP address for printer is 20.0.0.3 belonging to same class A network. Now this WAN link is having the IP addresses belonging to this class C network, that is 192.168.6.0. So one of the terminal of this WAN link will be having 192.168.6.1, and the other interface will be having 192.168.6.2. Now if you observe the router 2, then router 2 has got the serial interface 2/0, which will be configured with 192.168.6.2, and the path interface of this router is FA0/0, which will be configured with IP address belonging to class A network, again having the IP address 20.0.0.0. So one of the IP from this network will be configured on this path interface, and which is 30.0.0.1. The other IP addresses belonging to this same network will be configured on these end devices. So the addresses here will be 30.0.0.2 and 30.0.0.3, and the gateway IP addresses for this end devices belonging to this local area network will be 30.0.0.1, 30.0.0.1, as the fastener interface IP address will be 30.0.0.1. Now, after configuring these IP addresses, we are going to configure the clock rate on the DC of serial interface on each router, because the clock rate has to be configured on the DC terminal only. And after this, we are going to activate all the interfaces of each of the router. After activating the interfaces, we are going to configure IP addresses and set gateway on each of the PC. So once this entire IP address configuration and setting of clock rate is done, we are going to check the directly connected networks for each router. Then after checking the directly connected networks for each of the router, we are going to use the RIP command, router RIP command, and specify the directly connected networks for each of the router. After this, we are going to use the debug IP RIP command on each router one by one to check the communication of RIP messages with neighboring routers, and we are going to check the updated routing tables on each router using the show IP route command. And after successful configuration of this RIP and checking the debug messages, we are going to check the successful ping responses among the PCs, that is end devices belonging to different networks. Now let us understand how the routing tables will be updated using the RIP routing protocol. We have three routers in this configuration, network configuration or network scenario. So router 0, router 1 and router 2, each of them will maintain a routing table. In this routing table, there will be a directly connected path, C will represent directly connected path, and R will represent the path which is learned using the RIP routing protocol. Now router 0 is directly connected with network 10.0.0.0 and 172.16.0.0. So it will have the entries for these directly connected networks. Before configuration of the RIP routing protocol, we are going to check these entries in the routing table of router 0. Now router 0 is connected to 10.network via which interface over here? Via 10.0.0.1. So it is connected to 10.network via the interface 10.0.0.1, and the number of hops, which is the routing metric used in the RIP routing protocol, is 1 for this network. This router 0 can reach this LAN network, that is 10.0.0.0 via this interface with a hop count of 1. Now router 0 can reach this network, class B network 172.16.0.0 via the interface 172.16.0.1 with a hop count of 1. Now similarly, router 1 has got its directly connected networks. There are three directly connected networks. One of them is a LAN network 20.0.0.0. It can reach this LAN network via the interface 20.0.0.1 0.0.1. So let me write here properly the interface, that is fast Ethernet interface 0/0, and for router 0 it is the fast Ethernet interface 0/0, but the other network is reachable via the serial interface 2/0. And the hop count for this 20 dot network in case of router 1 is 1. Router 1 can reach the Class B network 172.16.0.0 via serial interface 2/0, which has the IP address 172.16.0.2, this one, and it can reach the serial network, it can reach this WAN network or Class B network with a hop count of 1. Similarly, router 1 can reach the WAN network 192.168.6.0 via the serial interface 3/0, which has the IP address 192.168.6.1, and it can reach it directly with a hop count of 1. Now let us try to find out the directly connected networks for router 2. Router 2 is directly connected with this WAN network and this LAN network. So we can say that this router 2 is reachable to network 192.168.6.2 via the interface serial 2/0, this serial 2/0, which is having the IP address 192.168.6.2. I'm sorry, here the network is 192.168.6.0 over here, and the hop count required to reach this network is 1. Now this router 2 can reach this LAN network, which is again a class A network 30.0.0.0 via the interface fast Ethernet interface 0/0 having an IP address 30.0.0.1 with a hop count of 1. So far we have noted down the directly connected paths for the routers. Now let us determine the paths which will be learned by the routers using the RIP protocol. So the learning will happen through neighbors here. Each of the router will communicate its routing table entries to its neighbors. Router 0 will communicate the routing table entries with router 1. Router 1 will send the routing table updates to router 0 as well as router 2, and router 2 will communicate the routing table entries to router 1. And thus the learning will happen using the RIP routing protocol. Now here router 1 will tell router 0 that it can reach the 20 dot network with a hop count of 1. So once the router 0 receives this information, it understands that it can also reach this 20.0.0.0 network, 20.0.0. network via the interface serial 2/0, and the number of hops required to reach there is 2. It understands that router 1 is its immediate neighbor, and if router 1 can reach this 20 dot network with a hop count of 1, so it will reach the 20 dot network with a total hop count of 2. Now router 1 will also send the routing table update to router 2. So router 2 will also update its routing table entry. It will learn it using the RIP protocol. So router 2 will understand that it can also reach the 20 dot network via the serial interface 2/0 with a hop count of 2. It understands that if router 1 can reach 20 dot network with a hop count of 1, and it understands that the distance between router 1 and router 2 is 1, so this router 2 can reach the 20 dot network via the serial interface 2/0 with a hop count of 2. Now router 1 can understand that if router 0 can reach 10 dot network with a hop count of 1, so it can reach the 10 dot network with a hop count of 2 via the serial interface 2/0, and router 2 will understand that if router 1 can reach the 10 dot network with a hop count of 2, so the distance between itself and router 1 is 1, and therefore it will understand that it can reach the 10 dot network also via its serial interface 2/0 with a total hop count of 3. Now here router 1 also understands that if router 2 can reach 30 dot network with a hop count of 1 and the distance between itself and router 2 is 1, so it understands that it can reach the 30 dot network. Router 1 can reach this 30 dot network via its serial interface 3/0 with a total hop count of 3. The serial interface is 3/0 over here. And router 1 will also communicate this routing table updates to router 0 and router 2. So now router 0 understands that if router 1 can reach this 30 dot network, if router 1 can reach, a 30 dot network is reachable with a hop count of 2 because router 2 is reachable to the 30 dot network with a hop count of 1. So 1 plus 1 will become 2. So router 0 understands that if router 1 can reach 30 dot network here via the hop count of 2, so it can reach this 30 dot network with a hop count of 3, and this 30 dot network is reachable from router 0 via the serial interface 2/0. Router 0 also understands that if router 1 can reach this 192 dot network 192.168.6.0 network with a hop count of 1, so it can reach this network 192.168.6.0 with a hop count of 2 via the serial interface 2/0. Now here router 2 will understand that if this router 1 can reach this 172.16.0.0 network with a hop count of 1, then it can also reach this 172.116.0.0 network via its serial interface 2/0 with a total hop count of 1 plus 1, that is 2. So in this way the routing tables will be updated using the RIP routing protocol. We are going to check it in the Cisco Packet Tracer. The outcome expected from this experiment is the learning of the configuration of the RIP routing protocol, and to this should be illustrated by taking the screenshots of IP address configuration on PCs and routers, the screenshots of updated routing tables, the screenshots of debug messages, screenshots of successful ping responses, and after analyzing all these things, you'll have to conclude from the above observations. Now let me take you to the Cisco Packet Tracer. So we are now on the Cisco Packet Tracer. I have already created the simulation environment here, and the addresses, IP addresses on each of the devices is shown, and on the interfaces also it is shown. You can use this options menu and preferences. From here you can click on always show port labels in logical workspace so that you can find the names of these interfaces over here, FA0/0, FA0/2, and so on. And you can see the serial interface 2/0 and so on. Now let us configure each of the router for the IP addresses. So here I'll click on router 0 first and enter its config mode. So we'll not configure the router through the GUI because the routers cannot be configured using GUI in practical scenarios. We'll use the command line interface. Now we are on router 0. So I'll first of all give the enable command in order to get the hash prompt. Now on hash prompt we can give some commands to the router. Now let us first of all give the name to this router using the host name command. Host name router 0. It is saying invalid input detected at marker. So let us use the host name command again. Before doing this, we have to use the config terminal command in order to configure the router. So on this config mode, let us use the host name command. With host name, we can assign the name to this router. This router is router 0, so we have assigned the router 0 name to this router. Now once you're in config mode, you can configure the interfaces of the router with the IP addresses. This router 0 is having two interfaces, fast Ethernet interface 0/0 and serial interface 2/0. So let us go on to the interface fast Ethernet 0/0 and configure here the IP address. The command is IP address 10.0.0.1 and its mask. This 10.0.0.1 is class A IP address, so its mask will have 1 octet high and remaining 3 octets low. So IP address on fast Ethernet interface 0/0 is configured. Now let us activate this interface by using the no shut command. Now the interface is active. Now we'll exit from this interface and move on to another interface, which is serial 2/0. You can observe on this router the serial interface is 2/0. Now once we are on this interface, we need to configure the IP address 172.16.0.1 as seen in the diagram, and the mask for this address is 2 octets high and 2 octets low because it is the class B IP address. Now this serial interface is also configured with an IP address. Now let us activate this interface using the no shutdown command or simply no shut command. So interface is now active. Now this is the DC interface. As you can see the clock symbol over here. So clock has to be configured on the serial interface 2/0 of router 0. So we are not now going to configure the clock rate on this serial interface. Let it be 64,000. That's it. Now clock rate is also configured. Now we have configured the router 0. Similarly, we'll follow the configuration steps on router 1. We'll choose the CLI tab, command line interface, enable command, then configure terminal or simply conft. Now first of all, let us assign the host name to this device. Let the host name be router 1. Now we are on router 1. We can configure the router 1 interfaces. Here you can see the router 1 has got 3 interfaces. First one is the interface fast Ethernet 0/0. So with this command we will move to the interface fast Ethernet 0/0, and now we'll configure the IP address on this interface. IP address the IP address on fast Ethernet interface 0/0 here is 20.0.0.1, 20.0.0.1. It is class A, so mask will have only 1 octet high and remaining 3 octets low. The IP address is configured on this fast Ethernet interface. Now let us activate this interface using no shut command. Now the interface is active. Now we'll exit from this interface and move on to another interface, which is serial 2/0. This serial 2/0 interface is towards the router 0, and here the address is 172.16.0.2. This belongs to class B. Therefore, the mask will have 2 octets high and 2 octets low. IP address is configured on serial interface 2/0. Now, let us activate this interface using the no shut command. The interface state is up now. Now, let us come out of this interface using the exit command. Exit, and let us move on to another serial interface, that is serial 3/0 as seen in the diagram. And this serial 3/0 interface needs to be configured with IP address 192.168.6.1, which is the class C IP address. So mask will be 3 octets high and 1 octet low. So IP address is configured on this serial interface. Now here you can observe that this serial interface 3/0 of router 1 needs the clock. This is the DC terminal. So let us now configure the clock rate on this interface. Let it be 64,000. Clock is also configured, and now let us activate the interface using the no shut command. Interface is also active. Now let us move on to the third router to configure the IP addresses. So on this router 2, we'll use the command line interface. First command should be enable command to get the hash prompt. Here the first command should be config terminal or configure terminal, and let us first of all now configure the host name on this router. This router is router 2 in the simulation scenario which is shown. So this is router 2. Now we are on router 2. We can configure this fast Ethernet interface and the serial interface of this router 2. You can see here in this diagram, router 2 has got the fast Ethernet interface 0/0, which should be configured with IP address 30.0.0.1. This is again a class A IP address which requires a mask of 1 octet high and remaining 3 octet low. The IP address is now configured on this interface. Now let us activate this interface by using the no shut command. The interface is now active. Now let us exit from this interface and move on to the serial interface of this router, which is serial 2/0. Now we are on the serial interface of the router, and here the IP address required is IP address 192.168.6.2. This is a class C IP address which requires a mask of 3 octets high and 1 octet low. So we have configured the IP address on the serial interface, and this serial interface does not require the clock because it is not a DC terminal. Now here we need to activate this interface, so we'll use the no shut command. Now the interface is active. Now let us one by one check the routing table entries on each of the routers. So first of all, we'll check it on the router 0. So for that we have to be on normal hash prompt. So I have used the exit command to come back to normal hash prompt, and here I'll use the command show IP route. Show IP route. So here we can see that there are two directly connected networks for router 2, which are 30.0.0.0 and 192.168.6.0. And in the routing table you can see that they are directly connected and they are connected via the interfaces. So 30 network is reachable via fast interface 0/0, and the 192.168.6.0 network is reachable directly via serial interface 2/0. Now similarly, we are going to check the routing table on the router 1. So router 1, you have to exit first of all from this interface. Again use exit to come back to normal hash prompt and use the command show IP route. So here on router 1, you can see there are 3 directly connected networks. 20.0.0.0 is reachable directly via pass Ethernet interface 0/0. 172.16.0.0 network is directly connected and it is reachable via serial interface 2/0, and 192.168.6.0 network is directly connected via serial interface 3/0. You can observe here serial interface 3/0, serial interface 2/0, and the pass Ethernet interface 0/0. Now similarly, we are going to check the routing table on router 0. For that, we have to exit first of all from this interface and exit from this configuration tab also. Come back on the normal hash prompt and use the command show IP route. So here we can see that router 0 is directly connected with networks 10.0.0.0 and 172.16.0.0, and this 10. Network is reachable via pass Ethernet interface 0/0. Here you can see, and the 172.16.0.0 network is directly connected. It is reachable via this serial interface 2/0. This network is reachable via serial interface 2/0. Now let us use the RIP configuration commands on each of the router. Now we are on router 0 on the normal hash prompt. To configure the RIP command, we have to use the config terminal first, config T. Now we are on configuration mode, so with that we can configure now the RIP command. So here the command is router RIP. So the command is accepted successfully. RIP protocol is configured on this router 0. Similarly, we'll configure the RIP routing protocol on router 1. So first of all, we have to use the configure terminal command and the router RIP command for configuration of the RIP routing protocol on router 1. Similarly, we are going to configure the RIP routing protocol on router 2. We are on hash prompt, so we'll have to enter into the configuration mode of router 2 with conf t command, and once we are on the configuration mode, we can use the router RIP command to configure this router 2. So we have successfully configured this RIP routing protocol on each of these routers. Now let us check again the routing tables on each of these routers. So first of all, we'll check on router 0. On router 0, we have to check the routing table updates. We are on config router mode, so we have to exit from this mode first of all. We are now on configuration mode. Again, exit from this mode and come back to normal hash prompt to check the routing tables. The command is show IP route. Show IP route. You can simply use sh IP route. Use the tab key to get the complete command. Still the network, still the routing table is not updated. Why? Because we have not defined the directly connected networks. We have not configured the directly connected networks on each of the routers. So first of all, we'll have to configure the directly connected path. We'll have to tell each of the router that it is directly connected with the networks. So this router 0 should be configured. So we have used the config terminal command now, and let us tell each of the router that it is reachable to its directly connected networks. So network, the command should be network. The command is not acceptable here, so let us try again. If it is not acceptable here, then we have to move on to the router rip command again. Here again we'll configure the router rip. Now on this mode we have to specify the directly connected networks. This router 0 is directly connected with 10.0.0.0 network, and it is also directly connected with 172.16.0.0. Now the RIP configuration is complete. Earlier we had configured only the router RIP command, but it also requires to specify the directly connected networks. Now RIP configuration is complete with all respect on router 0. Now similarly we'll configure the RIP routing commands on this router 1. On router 1 we are already on config router mode, so here we can specify the network which are directly connected to this router. There are 3 networks which are directly connected here. First network is the 20.0.0.0 network. The second network is 172.16.0.0 network, and the third network is 192.168.6.0 network. So RIP routing protocol is configured on router 1 also. Now let us configure it on router 2. We are already on config router mode. Now here we need to specify the directly connected networks for this router 2. So on router 2 we know that there are 2 directly connected networks. The first one is 30.0.0.0, as you can see over here in this diagram, and the second network directly connected to router 2 is 192.168.6.0. So now we have successfully configured the RIP commands on router 2 as well. Now let us one by one check the routing table entries for each of the router. So I'll use the show IP route command on the normal hash prompt. For that I have to exit from this config router mode. So now we are on normal hash prompt. We can use the show IP route command to check the updated routing tables. So now you can see here that the routing table entries in router 2 are updated with the paths which are learnt via the RIP routing protocol. You can see some of the entries are with R and 2 entries are with C. C indicates the directly connected paths and R indicate the paths learnt using the RIP routing protocol. So I'll read only one entry here. The router 2 can reach 10.0.0.0 network, which is class A network /8. The administrative distance is 120. The hop count is 2, and it can reach this network 10.0.0.0 via 192.168.6.1. This 192.168.6.1 via the serial interface 2/0. This is the serial interface 2/0. Now similarly we are going to check the updated routing tables on the remaining 2 routers. So we are now on router 1. We'll have to exit from config router mode. Now we are on config mode. Again exit from here. Come back on normal hash prompt and use the command show IP route. Show IP route. So here also you can see the updated routing tables using the RIP protocol. Some of the entries are with R and the others with C. C indicate the directly connected path, and you can observe here the hop count for each of the entry. In the first entry the hop count is 1. In the second entry it is directly connected. In the third entry you can see the hop count of 1, and you can see the via interfaces also. Similarly we are going to check the routing table which is updated using RIP protocol on router 0. At present we are on config router mode, so exit from here. We have come back to config mode. Again exit from here, and on the normal hash prompt use the command show IP route. So you can see here the updated routing table using the RIP protocol. I'll read only one entry from here. This router 0 can reach 30.0.0.0 network with an administrative distance of 120 and a hop count of 2 via 172.16.0.2 and via serial interface 2/0. And these updates are sent after every 30 seconds. You can see here 29 is written. The update timer is used here, which is of 30 seconds. And in this way we have successfully configured the RIP routing protocol on each of the router, and the routers have learned the paths using the RIP protocol. There are total 5 networks in this topology, and each of the router is reachable to 5 networks. All the 5 networks, each of the router has learned the paths dynamically using the RIP routing protocol. Now we can check how the messages are exchanged among the routers using the debug command. So the debug command is debug IP RIP, which should be given on the normal hash prompt. Debug IP RIP. The debugging is started, and you can see that the router builds the routing table entries for the rest of the networks. And you can see that this router 0 initially sends the RIP version 1 update to all the networks. That is, it broadcasts that update via the fast Ethernet interface 10.0.0.1, and it receives the updates RIP version 1 update from its serial interface 172.16.0.2, and these updates are received from its immediate neighbor, that is router 1. Router 1 tells this router 0 that it can reach 20 dot network via a hop of 1, it can reach 30 dot network with a hop of 2, it can reach 192 dot network with a hop count of 1. So depending on this information, this router 0 updates its routing table, and it builds the entries like it can reach 20 dot network with a metric 2, 30 dot network with a metric 3, 172 dot network with a metric 1, and 192 dot network with a metric 2. Similarly, you can observe the debug messages on router 1 and router 2. To stop the debug messages, the command is undebug all. Undebug all. So the debugging will stop, otherwise it will carry on continuously. So now I'll show you the debug messages on router 1. The command is debug IP RIP. So debugging is on. You can see how router 1 learns the routing tables or learns the routing paths via its neighbors. It sends the update, version 1 update, to all the connected devices in the network. That is, it broadcasts the version 1 update to all the networks, and it also receives the version 1 update from its neighboring routers and builds the routing table entries. So here you can see that router 1 can reach 10 dot network with a metric of 2, router 1 can reach the network 20.0 with a metric of 1, and it can reach 172.16.0.0 network with a metric of 1. Now to stop these debug messages, I'll use the command undebug all. Otherwise, the debugging will go on continuously. Undebug all. Now similarly, I can show you the debug messages on router 2, from which you can understand how the router 2 learns the routes dynamically using the RIP routing protocol. Debug IP RIP is the command with which you can observe the debug messages. The messages which are exchanged between the routers to build the routing table entries using the RIP routing protocol. The debugging is on. Now you can see the messages. It takes some time. Yes, you can see here that the router 2 is sending the version 1 update. It broadcasts the version 1 update via the fast Ethernet interface 0/0. This IP 255.255.255.255 is a broadcast IP address, and it also receives the update from its neighbors, and based on those updates it updates its routing table. So it is reachable to network 10.0 with a metric of 3. It is reachable to 20. Network with a metric of 2, that is hop count of 2. It can reach 172 network with a hop count of 2. It can reach 192 network with a hop count of 1. So in this way we have successfully configured the RIP protocol on all the routers, and we have seen that the routers learn the paths dynamically using the RIP routing protocol. Now let us check for the successful ping response from any of the end device to any of the end device belonging to any other network. So let us now ping the IP address for say PC3 from PC0. So I'll use PC0, the desktop option, and I'll use the command prompt, and I'll use the tool which to test the connectivity, which is the ping tool. Ping, this requires the IP address. Now we are going to check the connectivity for PC3 from PC0. PC3 and PC0 are lying to different LAN networks, and they are connected via the routers, router 0, router 1 and router 2. So I'll have to mention the IP address of PC3 here. PC3 IP address is 30.0.0.3. So here the IP address is pinged, and we should get the successful ping response. So yes, we are getting the successful ping response. Now in this video I have shown you the configuration of RIP routing protocol on each of the router. For that we had configured IP address on each of the router interfaces, and I had already configured the IP addresses on these end devices, which I did not explain you earlier, but these IP addresses were already configured on these end devices. The IP address on PC0 was configured as 10.0.0.3 as explained in the theoretical scenario, and the gateway for this is 10.0.0.1. Similarly, the IP address and gateway were configured on each of the end devices belonging to each of the LAN network here. So in this way we have successfully completed the configuration of RIP routing protocol on each of the router in the considered simulation scenario. Thanks for watching.